Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Nancy Vandell, currently chairperson of the NCAC Bylaws Subcommittee, and I call the meeting to order at 9:08 a.m. on April 17th. I'm a little slow this morning, so I have no conflicts. Could the other members of the subcommittee please introduce yourselves and state any conflicts?
Wyatt Angelo, no conflicts.
Susan Schomburg, no conflicts.
Tom Sipe, no conflicts.
And Michael seems to have departed for the moment. We'll get him in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and share the agenda, which is, I think, going to be short, hopefully. So, Michael, you're back. Can you introduce yourself and state any conflicts? You're muted.
Michael Beachley, I have no conflicts.
Great, thank you. So, really, I think hopefully it'll be pretty short. We have one main agenda item. Add plus minutes approval. We have 6 sets of minutes to do. I have a quick report, and we can go through the status, which will be quick, of the amended bylaws and PP&R, and then election of a new bylaws subcommittee chairperson. At that point, I will transfer the virtual gavel, and the group can discuss calendar and action items for the remainder of the year, and anything else they would like to talk about. So all I have on the calendar to begin with here is executive board meeting on Wednesday at 3:30, which is going to be a long meeting. I think all of you got my note about the agenda for that. I wasn't sure. 2 of you are already on the executive board committee, and 1 of you will hopefully be added. And then be up to the group to decide what bylaw subcommittee meetings to be set before July 1. And then our regular membership meeting is on June 13th, and I hope all of you will re-up. So, submit any, submit just a little quick 1-pager that has the stuff in one of our procedures to be included in your email note for that election. And then the last, I set Friday, June 19th as a last bylaws subcommittee meeting of the year to be able to turn over for the following year, but that'll be up to you guys if you want to do that. So, any comments on the agenda? Anything you'd like to change?
Discussion of what we do if the county comes back with changes.
Okay. Why don't we put that under the status of the bylaws and PP&R? I'll add and any required. Okay. Save as R1. I really like your R1s, 2s, 3s, Tom. I'm keeping that forever. I've used that in other groups too. All right. So, any other suggestions, changes? All right. Hearing none, we'll accept that. And minutes. Going to share. Okay. So we have a few. So I will just start. Shall we bring each of them up on the page and take a look at each of them? How would you like to proceed?
I'm currently looking at the last one, so.
Okay, well, let me start with 220 was the last one, the oldest. So if anybody has any objections, let me know. Or if you're still reading, let me know.
No objections.
You guys ready?
Mhm.
Yep.
Hearing none, the meetings are, minutes are of February 20th are approved as provided. Okay, March 6th. Let me know when you're done reading.
No objections.
Done here.
None.
Okay, hearing none, Michael?
None.
Okay, hearing none, the minutes of March 6th are approved as provided. I don't know why I'm not able to navigate this better, but 3:20. Oh, actually, we had a special meeting in there, 3:13. Quite short.
Yep,
Mhm.
no objections.
Done here.
None.
Fine.
Okay. Minutes of March 13th, 2026 are approved as provided. Oh, now I'm getting it in, I think. Okay, now the 20th. You guys will thank me when we're doing this. This was right before our special meeting to approve. Are they readable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good, Nancy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
No objections here.
No
None.
objections.
Okay. Minutes of March 20th approved as provided. And 4-3. That was our strange one. Three of us were there and two people came after the meeting was over. I think it was our shortest one on record. So kind of follow up after our membership meeting to kind of go over stuff. So Susan and Tom, any
No
comments?
objection.
No objection.
Okay, so the April 3rd meeting is approved as presented. And I think that's it.
Did we do the February 6th one? Because I think you started with February 20th.
I did. Thank you, Susan.
Mhm.
Glad you noticed that. Okay.
That's the one I was looking at. No objection.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like it was 4 years ago.
I know.
I'm not sure it was
Revi-
that short a time.
It was interesting going through the videos. It was like, oh yeah, we did talk
Yeah.
about that. How about that? We did a lot of work. All right, any objections?
None.
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 All right. So hearing none, the minutes of February 2nd are approved as submitted. So I believe we've approved all of these. If not, if there are no objections, these 6 sets of minutes are approved and we can go forward. All right. I am going to get out of the meeting folder here. This meeting. Okay. So the next thing is the current status of amended bylaws and PP&R. So I think we had actually seen this last time, but I did submit the report through Alex, even got his signature as he was in Europe, and sent that off to Sarah. And as I think we talked about last time, we did have a short conversation where she submitted this to the county council, who was new. And I guess I put it in an email, but she didn't mention any objection. She said did highlight with him some things to particularly look at, but told him about our process and how impressed she is with everything we've done, and said she was looking at it too. It didn't. The county's dealing with a lot of things right now legally, so it didn't sound like it was necessarily going to come back anytime soon. But we will keep pressing her. Whoever the new chairperson is, well as NCAC chairperson, we'll keep after her. But she does understand that these have been placed on the NCAC website with at the beginning. It's up the top. They're saying each of the, not the red line, but the final versions have at the top of them. They were approved by the membership on March 21st, and subject to approval by Tillamook County. So any questions about the packet? I'm sure you guys read every word.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And
At
wrote
some
every
point.
word in some cases. Yes. Okay. So I think that's it for sharing. So in terms of Tom's question, what do we do if they come back with changes? She should technically be sending it back to me, and I would forward it on to whoever the chairperson is, and then the committee would need to meet and talk about any of those. And what it can be is a conversation with her. It's not that we have to just automatically accept the changes, but we would have a conversation with her about why we were recommending something, or we take it back and discuss it as a subcommittee and see what we can negotiate. She has never in the past come back and said there are things we need to change. She's said them as we've gone through the process, but the first year she was much more involved than she has been subsequently.
Yeah.
So I've met with her twice going over things, and she acquiesced on the one issue that she had about bringing people in on ballot measures and that kind of thing. So hopefully that won't come up again. And then there are a couple of things that we'll be talking about on things that we didn't get done because she asked us to wait, like social media and archival kinds of things. So that'll be something for follow-up probably next year. But she's never demanded that we change. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Question, Nancy.
We have, let me just say one last thing. We have never gotten a final approval from her. She has said she's approved them in the past. She has put in an email, but never gotten a formal approval back. So we have operated as if we have the formal approval, and she has put them up on the website when I've asked her to. So I have not asked her to put this up yet, but she has put it up on the Tillamook County website. So to me, that's giving us approval. I think, she's extremely busy, and I think she's very positive about this. But I don't know what. Now, go ahead, Wyatt, and anybody else, what you'd like to discuss.
In the event that they come back with changes at this
Mhm.
point that they want to see, not that they would suggest, but want to see,
Yeah,
I'm assuming we have to re-ratify before the membership. Am I correct?
you're right. Yeah, we would
Okay.
have to let the membership know that,
Yeah.
and we told them about it in the meeting to approve that this could happen. But
Mhm.
yes, we would have to take that back to the membership and say this is what the county told us, and have a quick ratification motion. Why don't you weigh in there, Michael, if you have any
Yes,
thoughts on that?
yeah, we have to. There's no option among that.
Yeah,
If
that's
any
what I thought.
changes, any changes has to be approved, and if it is dropped on the Senate, or excuse me, on the membership floor, it'll be 2/3 required. If it's announced ahead of time, it'll be a simple majority.
For the bylaws.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. For the PP&R, I think all we required is a simple
We can
majority.
do that pretty much any time. Yeah.
And I know for a fact she really likes the bylaws changes. So I don't anticipate she'll come back with any problem with that. It'll just be anything in the PP&R. And we have in the PPR, that might be something she objects to, actually, would be possibly that we can just go ahead and change the references section with the agreement of the board, unanimous agreement of the board. So
Yeah.
We'll see. But she hasn't said it when I've gone through that with her. I've discussed that with her, and she didn't seem to have any problem with that. So I'm anticipating everything should be fine, but we don't know this new lawyer, and so we'll see. All right. I want to give a big shout out to all of you for this, and Tom, especially all the work that you've done on drafting all this and all our myriad edits along the way, and the green and the purple and the I guess mine was purple and the bylaws, but
Yeah, I didn't do
in the,
purple.
in
I
the
don't do
green.
purple.
And the lessons in running Word.
Yeah, right. The fights with Word. I share that with you. So anything else you'd like to talk about in terms of the current status and ongoing? Okay. So now I guess we're at the election of a new bylaws subcommittee chairperson. This would take effect through June 30th. And the person would be a member of the executive board representing the bylaws subcommittee. Those board meetings are, at the moment at least, every, I believe it's fourth Wednesday of the month at 3:30. We all created the executive board, so we get to live with that. How would you like to handle this? Would someone like to nominate somebody? Would someone like to nominate themselves?
I'd like to unnominate me.
Interesting, because I was just going to nominate you.
That's why I got in quick. No, there is a lot of things going on with the community plan. And although Sarah's been very kind to us, it's a little different in the community plan. We're having to change things that are actually legal things. So they're having to be much more careful. So I think I would probably not be able to do both.
I'm going to follow Tom's suit, because between speech and debate and fire, I'm really up to my eyeballs in meetings. So
let me just say this, between the two of you. So Susan's already on the executive board as the outreach chair, so she can't do both. Michael's on the executive board as parliamentarian, and I would hope he would accept my appointment of him going forward. So he's not available because of the bylaw state, we can't have you can't hold two positions on the
we need to
executive
change
board.
it.
I have a suggestion. Could we have co-bylaws chairs and have Wyatt and Tom do it?
We don't provide for
Sarah?
codes like that. The bylaws do not provide for that.
Can we,
I will say there's not a lot of work to be done between now and June 30th. So it would give somebody a chance to just
we've
get
heard that
going,
before.
and then
Are you willing to take
No.
one for the team here, Tom?
can we take a moment and talk about what's to be expected first?
That's a
for
good
the next-
idea, Tom.
Yeah, for
Michael.
the next year. I've thought about it, and I feel like the other two. I'm on 5 boards, and on Tuesday I turned 81, and all of a sudden all of that came and crashing in, I guess. I don't see any compelling reason why we need to meet anywhere near as often as we did the last 3 years. And as a matter of fact, it seems to me that a bylaws committee at this point, once we've done what we've done, which was extraordinary, literally extraordinary, that we're really responding to someone's request to change the bylaws. Or to have some special interpretation come up, or and even in the PP&R, that seems to me to be something that's more appropriate for the executive group to discuss, unless it is far-reaching and substantial in its effect upon others. Then it can be referred to the bylaws committee. So I don't know how the rest of you feel, but it seems to me that such a committee might reasonably meet on its own for general purposes quarterly, and on demand because of some proposed bylaw change. In the interim, without a chair, I think all we really need perhaps is the remainders of us to simply agree to meet on a particular date and chair ourselves through the next month or so until we, go into the next year. Those are kind of my thoughts. I'm not proposing anything in particular. I'm just tossing it out for purposes of discussion.
Yeah,
And how
thank you,
many
Michael.
meetings would we have? I mean, it's April 17th now. So if it
Yeah,
ends
yeah.
June 30th, did you say, Nancy?
Yeah.
Right, the
Yes,
term ends
13th.
June 30th. So the
Yes.
regularly scheduled last meeting would be June 19th, which might be enough, right? I mean, really, frankly, in terms of Sarah getting back to us anytime in the next 3 months, I would be surprised. I just think it'll be
And
next year.
that would be the primary reason for meet again, would it not?
Right. So I can see, and with my new hat on, coming to the bylaws subcommittee with a few things that I notice as I'm NCAC chairperson. I could see seeing some things, but I don't think they would be anything that would require a lot of discussion. So you're right, Michael. It's definitely not going to be what we've been doing the last 3 years. I think it's going to be much simpler. But I think it's important to have the bylaws subcommittee person be named and attend the board meetings, because I mean, certainly, Michael, you and I know the bylaws. Susan's on it already, and she knows it. But it's nice having somebody who would be actively running the committee, who can be hearing any comments that come up that might be affecting. And also, we have the position open for quorum. But I hear you, Tom. I hear that you are busy, and Wyatt, I hear that you're busy. But I think Michael makes a really good point. It's possible that the only thing you'd have to meet on would be maybe this last meeting of the year. After the 19th is after after people are elected, right?
All glory and no work, right?
At the June 13th meeting. And absolutely, that's a good way to put it, Michael. I mean, Wyatt, all glory and
Did you say I missed that?
he said all glory and no work.
Yeah.
I nominate Tom and myself until the next regular meeting of the membership, at which point a new chair will be elected.
Well, let me think. We don't have co's in the bylaws. So
It's better to
about-
ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
yeah, well, I don't think it's good for the bylaws subcommittee to violate the bylaws. So-
Well,
You think?
look, it really comes down. It really comes down to this. There's not a lot to do, and I know that Nancy, you set a very high bar, and it was an excellent bar, and really it was, and we all understand that, we all agree with that, and whatever it is that we do next year is not even going to be the same thing in any respect. And whoever accepts the position it's just a title at this point. The rest of us are appropriately responding to our needs. We're all up on it. We're all responsible. I'm saying it's going to be a fairly simple thing. So either Tom or Wyatt, if you accept the title, fine. We can come together. We can do our thing, and I don't think it has to have anywhere near the level of competency and detail that we've done for 3 years. It's a different game.
I can be pretty incompetent, yeah.
All right, there you go. Well, now you just opened the door, and I promise I won't step in there.
So it would just be between now and June 30th. You guys would have the discussion at the June 19th meeting on who would take over as chair.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope you're all planning to re-up, because it should be much, much easier going forward.
Mhm.
It's possible there'll be somebody new that would
It's
join
possible.
that will
We
decide
need
to
to
join.
outreach new blood.
Yes. And maybe that person would be willing to take over as chairperson too. So it really is just a holding position for the rest of the year. Because I agree, Michael. I don't see that there's going to be anything. I mean, maybe Sarah will surprise us, and I will be continuing to push her to get us an answer. But she is just so busy right now. So
Well, we've been a work group for 3 years, and I don't see that continuing. I see us being a consultative group.
Mhm.
from
Right.
here on out. And that's a whole lot, that's less organized. And that's something that I know that we can do regardless. That's
But that would mean
easy,
that I would
easy.
have to remember what I edited.
I know. If, yeah. If anything needed to be in it, but you know, the worst case scenario is some challenge from the county. Yeah, I don't even think that's going to happen.
I don't
Um,
either.
but mostly
so.
it's going to be, you know, some moderate change in some bylaw or whatever. Or if the executive board decides to refer to us something out of the PP&R that we need to have a conversation about. Other than that, it's going to be pretty darn simple.
I agree. I think the biggest thing is going to be representing on the executive board for a monthly meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And which
yeah.
we ought to be, I mean, you know, we ought to be at the membership meetings anyway.
mhm.
Yeah.
So
My memory
Wyatt
fails
and
me. Do we have a provision in the PP&R or the bylaws that allows a subcommittee vacancy to be appointed, the chair?
yes, it's under the bylaws under vacancies. So
Okay.
it includes subcommittee people as well.
I'm
But
more than happy to
it's
assume the role of
basically
figurehead if somebody would, like Tom would help with the setting up of the Zoom stuff. That's not exactly my bailiwick.
I was just curious how how that will transfer from Nancy to whoever is
right.
the chair.
So yes. So I like this suggestion, Wyatt. So that is one thing that would be set up. So the chair. When I first took over, I asked Jeff to set me up with a bylaws email. Committee email, as soon as I heard from Sarah that our personal emails could be subpoenaed, I just thought that would be better. And of course, we set that up then in the references for each of the offices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I really want to get done very quickly is set up one for chairperson so that I can hand over the bylaws email to whoever is chair. So we would help you set up, Wyatt, if you became the chairperson, having that come to you as an NCAC bylaws email. It would have to be put on your phone and to your computer so that you can send out through it and we can help you with that.
Okay.
I do quite a bit of Zooming anyway. I could certainly host, unquote.
Score for you, Michael.
And
so,
just set it up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. I, that leads to another question, and the parliamentarian is parliamentarian at ncac.org would ostensibly be coming to the parliamentarian, who's me.
yes,
But
yes.
I don't know how that works, and so there
We need to set that up for you,
there's some
Michael.
mechanical things to work right there. But once that's set up, and I do 2 or 3 Zooms hosting anyway. But Tom, if you want to do that, please go for
No,
it.
I practice creative ignorance.
So on the Zoom, right now, everybody who goes into Zoom uses the same admin Zoom
Okay.
password.
Uh-huh.
And so we would give that to you. That's actually
Oh.
one thing I wanted to kind of see if we could do is actually, but I think they did check into that with Jeff. And I think there's no way to create separate seats. You have to pay for each one. So we would give whoever is setting it up the admin password for Zoom that they can only use for NCAC type meetings. And there is a little bit of an issue with that in terms of Zoom doesn't always recognize you. So you would need to contact me or probably Candace.
Does that mean that I
to
could
get you
not
in?
use? Does that mean I could not use my own Zoom account?
Well, you shouldn't know because you need to be able to record to the cloud that NCAC controls. So that we're archiving everything properly.
Right. Okay.
So that's right. And but I would plan to still attend as a guest. I actually would kind of like to throw out to the committee something that we talked about a while back, about the possibility of changing the bylaws to have the NCAC chairperson be a ex officio non-voting member. And I
Mhm.
think what we decided was not to before, because it would be a quorum thing. And if person's not attending, they don't want to take a quorum spot. But I think if it's
That's correct.
non-voting, it doesn't count in the quorum. That'd be something for us to check.
That's
but-
correct. That's
And
correct.
never used to dial in, I remember.
Right. Sometimes Mark would, and Alex did
Yeah.
a couple of times as well. And I always put them on the agenda
Yeah.
if they were there, and Sarah if she were to come.
Yeah.
But at that point, I could easily run the Zoom meetings for you because
Oh, wow.
you know me. I'm not going to want to not attend your meetings, whether I'm official or I'm a guest. So I'd be happy to handle that
The
part of
good
it.
OCD,
shepherd never
OCD.
leaves his flock.
That's it. Oh,
This
OCD.
will always be near and dear to my heart. Yeah. So
Yeah.
as long as, well, of course, I'm only chair for a year. So, but at that point, we could figure out what to do. But thank
No,
you,
you're
Michael.
chair forever.
Thank you, Tom.
As long as I have anyway. So we could help with any of the computer related stuff. Wyatt.
Okay.
So
And I will continue to help with the documentation, so you need not worry about that.
okay. So
Well,
Tom would
you know,
continue as editor. Wyatt would take over as chair. Susan, you'll be a member, and maybe you guys could talk about minutes because Michael, I don't want to put you out. I mean, this has been of course there shouldn't be as much going on with minutes going forward, hopefully, so it won't be as big a deal. Kind of got away from us all. But anyway, okay, so am I hearing a general consensus that Wyatt will step forward as NCAC chairperson and attend our board meetings?
through
Yes,
the,
I think
Yes.
we very successfully kicked the can down the road.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking to Susan right now as the outreach person to come and save us and find somebody uh, for the general membership meeting.
Community. No, actually, I would talk to Nancy because I'm trying to put together a flyer for the upcoming NCA Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
To put on the chairs. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm in the initial phases of like trying to think of things to put on a flyer that we could then put on everybody's chair at the meeting, which would recruit more people, hopefully.
I have a due date of today. I happen to see in the NCAC email that we have been invited to put in a column or a story in the NCA newsletter that's coming out. So I'm going to be drafting that between meetings today. 3
Beach Buzz, the new beach.
meetings. What's that?
They've called it is it the Beach Buzz?
I
They've
think so.
reformatted
They named
it,
it.
and it's very cute.
Okay. And I guess
Yeah.
they only have two a year, it sounds like, because I asked the editor how many, and it sounds like they do one for each of one that'll come out for the Memorial Day weekend meeting, and then one right after the September Labor Day meeting. So they're only the
Well,
two.
they've had two come out so far, two Beach Buzzes.
Oh, have they?
So
Okay.
yeah, I think they're trying to really make them more human interest related
Okay.
and really get some interest going.
Yeah. And I want to
Cute.
talk with you, Susan, about some things, other things we can do with outreach to
Okay.
get some things done. Like one of the things I noticed, and we'll talk about with Candace, is my husband, has signed up to come for 3 meetings to save us on quorum, and he
Yeah.
doesn't get the NCAC emails. So I always thought that it would just be automatic that when you have someone signing up for meetings that they would be on the email list, but no. So we need to do something to fix that. So that's on my long list for Candace. But
Oh, wow.
But I think that will help if we can make it easier, have a button to push to register for the email list and stuff like that. But anyway, we're getting far afield. So Wyatt, thank you for stepping up. I look forward to working with you in this new capacity, and hopefully it won't take a lot of your time. but you can make the meeting on Wednesday where we can introduce you, right?
Yeah, I have some experience in being the chief spear catcher.
Okay.
So I'll be happy to do it on a pro temp basis, and we'll
Yeah.
hopefully find somebody to be able to do it on a longer term basis.
Okay. Or you'll like it so much you'll just continue to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm sure of. Yeah.
I have a technical question. Do we need to vote in favor on this? Or
Well,
is
I
it just
kind of,
automatic? I mean,
No,
I'm
we,
fully in
we-
favor, but I didn't know from a
yeah,
technicality
we did.
standpoint.
We did.
I
Yeah.
did it as kind of an applied thing, but
Okay.
yeah, if
Awesome.
you'd like to make
Without
a motion.
objection.
That's
Without
right.
objection, that's it. That's the one.
Michael's favorite words. I kind of did that, but
Without
it is
objection.
important enough. Why don't you make a motion to elect Wyatt as the bylaws
so
subcommittee
moved.
chair? Okay. All right. All those in favor of Wyatt becoming
Aye.
bylaws
Yeah.
subcommittee chairperson, say aye.
Yeah.
Great. Since it's
Condolences.
unanimous, I don't even need to ask the opposite. So congratulations, Wyatt, and thank you.
Yeah, the pomp and circumstance will start immediately hereafter.
Right. Right.
Uh-oh.
So I am now turning the gavel over to you
Yeah.
for any calendar discussions for going forward.
Yeah, there will be no sloughing off by any of you.
I think we've created a monster.
Or unleashed one.
So do you see any need to meet before June 19th? I guess is kind of the question.
I don't know. What do the rest of you think? I don't.
No,
I don't,
we're fine.
no,
Yeah, let me see what I'm pulling that up right now. What
You know, what's going on right now is called reverberation. You know, we've done this for 3 years and aren't really quite sure how to stop.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah, it
true.
is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what are we going to do with our Friday mornings? I mean,
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go to the piano group, but
yeah, good for you. I'd like to do that too if I could play the piano.
no.
Okay, well, yeah, I think it's fine. So hopefully you all are planning to re-up for next year, right? I hope.
I am.
'Cause-
I will. Yes.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
I think Michael's description of next year is pretty accurate, assuming that the county doesn't throw a wrench into the works. And so
Yeah, I don't think they will.
on that basis, I certainly am.
I really want to get a social media policy going though, and do something in the interim where, Susan's been posting on Facebook, Nesco and Friends Facebook page, but to do something a little more official from NCAC. So
Yeah.
I do think we need to get that done. Archives sounds like it's a bigger project. I think we're doing what we need to do for archives. So, and she's hopefully doing something countywide that's not just the CACs, but overall archiving. So I don't think we have to worry about that one anytime soon.
I
But,
might just observe an observation is that we are titularly the bylaws committee, not policies procedures.
Subcommittee. Yeah.
And we picked that up kind of informally and did it, which was good, really quite, because now there's a document from which people can act and have a discussion. But it also occurs to me that policies and procedures are the purview of the executive board and the membership to ratify, and that the bylaws committee acts as an advisory group in the case where the executive board would like to have that formal input, and for which they would like to have a formal private conversation about. That's kind of how I look at it. Those.
Well, nothing's private.
Yeah.
In
I mean,
NCAC.
outside of the executive board meetings, yeah, so that we have the time and energy, to actually delve deep into things and do a comprehensive discussion on its impact and what it means and so on. I don't see a lot of change, really. I may be wrong. I mean, as things go on, But for now, I think we're about as solid an organization as formally as I could imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Yes,
there are questions about in the executive committee, we are the appropriate people to tell them what we intended.
right.
Now,
Oh,
and
that's good. Yeah, yeah,
because that's a proper role for us.
yeah.
And if we intended something different than they want, well, then that's a change.
Well, in the in the aggregate and in the big picture, we've been pretty critical for 3 years in terms of this organization's structure and meaning and so on. And very, very fortunately, we've been very fair and open and listening, even though we may not have always agreed. It was a very constructive process, and I say that professionally. Because I've taught that stuff for years and years and years, but it's been an extraordinary group. And when I said before, this would have been a great graduate student or PhD, I wasn't kidding. I mean, this really did come down very, very well.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I did just check the bylaws to make sure, but the bylaws do state that the bylaws subcommittee is also responsible for the maintenance of the PPNR. So
Oh, okay. All right.
we have both. We have both. We
Well,
put that in
shame on
last year
Yeah.
when we created the PPNR.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of our bylaws amendments. So
No, we're good.
So we can't get away from that. But yeah, we always involve the executive board. Like we had a special executive board feedback session this year, like we did before. And I was having one-on-one discussions with the executive board as well, as we were developing them this year. But anyway, I think, Wyatt, I'm talking too much. I'm not chair anymore. You go ahead.
No, I don't think you're talking too much. I mean,
Okay.
I think you're still a member or not pro tem, but ex officio as far as we're concerned. So feel free to close out the meeting as something of a victory dance,
Well, I do look forward to seeing you. We're still setting up our plans on when we're going to come now. It looks like it might be a little later, but I definitely want to take you guys all out when I
When are
get to
you
Nestwood.
thinking?
I'm looking at places and I was thinking avoiding summer, but I don't know. It might be September, like early September.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
I'll definitely let you know when we get it set. But yeah, so Wyatt, thank you for stepping up. I don't see that we have anything else. We don't have any action items other than following up with Sarah, and you guys getting your little emails. Nothing urgent, but we can send out that part of the PPNR on. We have it's not a policy, it's a procedure on what needs to be included in the write-up.
It just occurs to me, and I apologize for not saying this sooner, but I'm not sure how I'm going to work this, but I'm going to be in Costa Rica on the 19th of June.
Why don't you reset the Why don't you guys reset the date then? Because you don't want to have to worry about coming in from Costa Rica.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have Wi-Fi available, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, and you don't want to interrupt your vacation. So the election's on the 13th of June.
And I will be in Costa Rica on the 13th.
And you don't need 12th.
So if you're going to be
the 9th,
if you're going to be setting up voting on a chair to take over, it should be after the 13th.
Okay.
I think. So when do you get back, Wyatt?
I'm going to get back on the 21st.
So what about the 26th, that following Friday?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
How about the rest of you?
That works for me.
Sure.
Michael, is that
I'm
26th
looking.
good for you?
26th of June. Piano group. I don't have a lot of control over that because that's traditionally been Fridays.
But that, it probably would be a short meeting, right? It would be to elect a
Yeah,
chair
yeah.
and it would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
to
And that
talk
group does
about,
not meet until 10 o'clock in the
right.
morning
So
anyway.
you could probably be done
Yeah,
with that.
we can, or yeah, that'd be fine. I
And
can
that-
organize. We can jump on the interesting and important stuff early in that meeting in case it goes longer. Okay.
Well, and the other thing I think for that agenda, why it would be talking about when you guys want to meet next year, because on that meeting on the 30th,
Yeah.
because we do keep running into your piano meetings,
Yeah.
Michael. So it does sound like you should think about a different
Day of the
meeting
week.
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fine.
So anyway, 2 agenda items for the
Bit of a discussion.
26th.
How often do you think we should ping Sarah?
You know,
I'm thinking quarterly.
So am I.
I think so. I think I may actually nudge her whenever I'm talking with her about other NCAC stuff. So I may just,
Well,
but
so we don't have to do that. Thank you.
I don't think
Appreciate
I don't think you do. I mean, technically, anything going out of the NCAC goes from the chair, and we've done that every year. Well, no, not the first year because we didn't have that in the bylaws. I sent it out the first year on the bylaws stuff directly, but last year with the PP&R and bylaws changes, that went through Mark. I wrote everything, but it went through Mark, and then this year it went through Alex. So I don't. If you would like to designate me to do that, I can do it. Otherwise, Wyatt, if you want to have a meeting with Sarah and ask her about it, we can set that up too. So, but I think what I have found is less is more.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we're able to keep operating the way we're operating. But she did tell me she actually went over it with the new attorney and told him what to focus on. So maybe I'm hoping she'll
I'll
be
try
able
to talk with
come up
Sarah
with
and
an
find
actual
out
letter.
what those expectations are.
Sounds good, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. And I will work on transferring the bylaws email to you.
Okay.
Candace may have to do the actual setup with you face to face, and then the rest of you, we want to get an outreach one for you, Susan, and a parliamentarian one for you, Michael.
Okay.
So I really want to get all these set up so that we're all using them, and have that on the website so that people can contact each officer directly. But having it set up by the NCAC secretary is important because there's also monitoring that way that that she can be doing. Okay. Wyatt, take it away.
Any further business before the committee? I think we've gone through the agenda, have we not?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Hearing no objection, the meeting is adjourned.
Nancy, if you
Sounds
could
great.
stop recording, I've got to.
Okay. Let me stop.